I'm Borly Borelstein, and today I am in my Hal from the movie Sanctuary cosplay. Now, we can't confirm or deny if that's completely true because, well, the camera ain't going any lower than this. But I did just got done cleaning the toilet, and I cleaned it to orgasm. That is true. So, you're probably wondering, what the fuck is this movie if Hal is cleaning toilets and orgasming? Well, let me read you the little blurb description here on the Google results, and then we'll get into the review. So, in the wake of inheriting his father's hotel chain, Hal tries to end his long and secret relationship with Rebecca, a dominatrix. A battle of wills ensues over the course of one fraught night, with Rebecca and Hal struggling to keep the upper hand. So, that's where this movie finds us. And it is amazing. The first 23 minutes of this movie are some of my favorite film of all time. This is like on the list of like my favorite films, just the first 26 minutes. And the film does stick the landing quite well. This film has one negative thing, that's the music. The music borders on inconsequential to distracting. Sometimes the music is actually distracting to the scene, and I almost would have preferred no music, but they do use the music somewhat effectively by kind of lowering the volume or increasing the volume to increase intensity of the music. But like I said, sometimes the music is distracting. Sometimes the music doesn't even match the tone of the scene. So in those instances, turn that shit down. So yeah. Anyway, how are the performances? I would say the performances of this film are amazing. Margaret Qualley, and guy who plays Hal is Christopher Abbott. I've seen Christopher Abbott in a few movies. I think he was in Black Bear. He is just the go-to guy who is either a scumbag or somebody who just needs to make like a oh my god face, and his life is just getting blown apart at the seams, and he is just that character. He is like the eternal cuck actor. He is always getting fucked over in every role, and it's hilarious. Although in Black Bear he was the one who was doing the fucking over, so fuck him. So you're probably wondering, how the fuck is he cleaning a toilet and orgasming? So I won't bury the lead anymore. Like I read, Margaret Qualley, her character Rebecca, is a dominatrix, and the film starts off and she's like reading this script interview, and she's like, oh, well, first it's like for the CEO position of his company, but then it gets into like, in what age did you have sex? And then what, fucking all those other weird sexual questions, like how do you have any STDs, blah, 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 stuff like that. And he kind of gets a little pouty, and then they have a little fight. But then they recover, and they go into the bathroom, and she's like, get on your hands and knees, and he's like cleaning the toilet and cleaning stuff, and he gets in his underwear, and then eventually he's allowed to come finally, only with her permission, mind you. And then things kind of cool off. They have a little dinner. He gives her a watch. And basically he's like trying to break up with her, and he's like, now that I'm being CEO, I can't have this going on in my life. Like, this could be potentially bad. There's potential for blackmail. So he's basically buying her off or buying her out or whatever, and she doesn't want to have it. So this film, I would have to say, this is probably the best Christopher Abbott has ever acted, because he has a range of emotions and expressions, and it is really deeply tied into, and I think the reason, even Margaret Qualley's character as well, the performances are so good because the characters are so rich. Hal, he is deeply insecure. We know a little bit about his relationship with his dad. We know, but a lot of it is inferred. Like, it's not explicit. He says things like, at one point Margaret Qualley's character comes back and she's like reciting Hal's dad's book to him, and Hal says, yeah, I know that, I read it in his book too. That's a clue. If he had to find out life lessons from his dad by reading his dad's book, that gives you information as the audience. That gives you information saying, hey, this guy's relationship with his dad is not fucking good. Because where would he have got that life lesson from his dad other than the book? From his fucking dad. So we have an idea of an absent father who wasn't there to properly raise his son, which then creates feelings of anxiety and inadequacy in the son, so he feels insecure about taking on the CEO position. And that's what the film was wrestling with on this kind of philosophical level of, can he be this person? does he want to be this person? And the film ends beautifully in resolving that conflict. This film really it's written as a stage play. It's written as a two-person stage play. There's nobody else. It takes place in one place, which is this hotel. At one point, they're in an elevator, and it resolves, I think, phenomenally. It is a beautiful story of kink. It's a beautiful story of, I don't know, I don't think there's any fetishes, really, other than just like, dom sub, all this kind of stuff. Maybe there's like an impregnation fetish, but that wasn't really that wasn't really fetish. That was more blackmail. But the film gets up to some crazy shit. It's insane to imagine that a film where like Margaret Qualley, in her performance, she is phenomenal. She is so well acted. Her character as the dominatrix, compared to her character as Rebecca, is just an absolute standout performances. This really is a wonderful movie. If you just want to see good fucking acting, a really interesting, kind of character study, both characters. We find out less about Rebecca because there's less things to fact check. We just have to trust what Rebecca is saying to be true, which is hard because she has a huge motive to lie. And I don't know if she actually ever does lie in the movie, but it seems like she does. Well, she does lie about one thing, which is maybe a little bit unfortunate if you want to watch cream pie sex. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, this was amazing. Great fucking movie. I gave it a 7 out of 10 just because the music is terrible. The cinematography is a little dull. They have like a few tricks where sometimes they'll do, there is some pseudo one-shot takes, but they cut, but they're pretty good. There are some long monologue takes. Those are phenomenal. There is some like camera effects that they do, but for the most part, it's just effective. It just does what it needs to do. That's all. There is, I will say, interesting lighting effects. There is early on when they're in the dom sub thing, the lighting is very Hollywood. It's fucking blaring. Film needs a lot of light to capture the image. So when they're doing the dom sub, it looks immaculate. And then they're having this real conversation. And the lighting that they use is more natural lighting. And I don't say like even TV lighting. I mean like how I look right now. I look like, I'm not lit very well, so I look like garbage, And this is kind of how they're lit. You just like see their skin with the imperfections, not glamorized. And that's when they're having like a real earnest conversation. And I think that's phenomenal fucking filmmaking. So great, good fucking job. I just realized the fucking thing I was playing to stop playing because I didn't put it on loop. And I spent like 5 minutes trying to figure that out. So that makes me mad. Anyway, but yeah, you're looking for some kinky ass film to get off to, but then also stay for like a phenomenal kind of like character arc and just like some interesting kind of like, I don't know. I'm actually curious if anyone thinks this relationship is bad. I think this relationship is beautiful. In a lot of ways, they complete each other. I think it's great. I think it's genuinely beautiful. But I also am, I guess, mentally unwell and would absolutely give up everything in my life for a woman who is willing to cut my head off if I don't come inside of her. That is the hottest thing ever. So please, if you're out there, woman who is going to cut my head off if I do not cream pie her, absolutely message me on every comment on all of my videos and I will get back to you shortly. Please. No, just kidding. I'm not kidding about the other thing. I'm just kidding about the begging part. That's pathetic. And that ain't me. That ain't me. Okay. Well, that's my review. Thank you.